All right, everyone, welcome to another edition of the Good Life Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Blakely, and I am pleased to be joined today by Brady Storrs, who is the owner of Select Sail and Sports.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the newest businesses that is opened here in Kearney, because you are day 3?
This is technically day 2.
Day 2?
We've been working on it for, a year plus.
Yeah, got it. So January 2024, they're open, and they're one of the newest businesses here. So we're happy to sit down and kind of find out more about them. But let's find out more about you, Brady. Tell me, what books are you reading or listening to right now?
So for the past few months, it's been pretty hectic, so I haven't done a whole lot of reading.
Probably so.
But I'm on this book called Fingerprints of the Gods right now by Graham Hancock.
Okay.
Just, he kind of details his ideas of a lost civilization, and how in that civilization they were probably as sophisticated or further along than we are today.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. It just kind of goes over like the wonders of the world and different lost artifacts that aren't really publicized that much.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty in-depth book.
It's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
You have to read it in short chunks to be able to grasp it.
Probably so.
Mm-hmm.
How about podcasts? Do you listen to many podcasts?
Yeah, I'm a podcast fiend.
Yeah?
I really like the Jocko podcast.
Yep.
With Jocko Willink.
Yep.
There's a lot of good stuff in there, especially for small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Joe Rogan, the podcast giant.
Yep.
I get on these tears where I go back and just go through Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell, where Duncan Trussell has been on Joe Rogan's podcast, and just listen to a whole bunch of those in a row. And then on the fishing side of it, because I own a kayak shop and I'm very into fishing, I listen to it's called Mercer.
Okay.
It's just kind of, he's the commentator, kind of MC for the Bassmaster Elite Series, which is the highest series of bass fishing there is in the world. And he's got an awesome podcast if you're into fishing.
Got it. What's the name of that one again?
It just goes by his last name, Mercer.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Very cool.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, let's get to know about your business. Kind of just take me through the journey of the idea of this to where we are now, or the shop's open. Just kind of walk me through how you got started in this and what you're hoping that it will become.
Mm-hmm. Well, my mom and I have been in the kayak fishing community for a long time, over a decade, and I've fished all my life. I'm 22 now. Had to think about that for a minute. But so we've always been into fishing and the outdoors, and I've throughout all of Nebraska we've got this incredible fishing community. Mm-hmm. And I've actually worked at a small kayak shop before.
Okay.
And every year I go down to Omaha, which is where Select Sail was. Now it's in Kearney. Mm-hmm. And I would pick up my new team kayak for the year. While I was down there last January, Mike Brindisi, one of the old owners, Mike and Don, mentioned to me that they were retiring. And I thought, oh no, they're just kind of a fixture in the sport of kayak fishing in the Midwest. And I mentioned it to my mom about, what if we bought Select Sail and Sports? Mm-hmm. And we just kept talking about it, and it wasn't too serious at first, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And
sure,
then we decided to purchase it, and it's been a 9-month kind of process of getting everything transferred over and figuring out all the different areas that we have to travel down to get different products, and we're adding a lot new products to the store.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of learning through that, because they just carried Hobie kayaks before.
Okay.
So we added Crescent kayaks to our fleet.
Okay.
And then we will also be carrying some other small brands that go along with the kayaking and fishing, just outdoors.
Nice. How big was the store in Omaha, for those who don't know?
It was not very big. It was about a 1,200 square foot space,
okay.
Which is, I think, what we have here roughly. Mm-hmm. They didn't have too much in there. They were into sailboat sales and making sales and things like that as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was just a really small store.
How long were they open?
They started with sailboats about 3 decades ago. I think maybe like 33 or 34 years ago. And then Hobie came out with their kayaks after they had started the sailboat company, and they got into the kayaks, and it really took off from there.
Got it. So this is a business that's been around for a while.
Yes.
I mean, and you're in a pretty, I guess, a niche market where people that, whether it's the fishing community or the kayaking community, I mean, they know the name Hobie. They know probably Select Sail and Sport. They have worked with them in the past, and so have you been able to kind of, that group of people, or that, have you been able to let them know, hey, we're open now in Kearney, we're up and running, things are going. How's that transition been to just kind of bring those customers, or to let them know that the business is still open?
Mike and Don had a very big following, so they were able to send out a mass email to let the customers know kind of what was going on. But there just really isn't a lot of kayak fishing at the forefront of people's mind this time of year.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do a soft opening here in January where I'll just kind of get used to keeping the regular hours, and then probably in March or April when it starts warming up and stuff starts melting and the birds come back and people get excited to go camping, then we hope to do some sort of, kind of get together here where people can come and maybe have some food and just kind of show people where we are and what we have in our shop.
Nice. What was the transition like with the previous owners? Were they pretty helpful as far as kind of showing you some ropes, some things to look out for, or have you kind of gone at this where you're learning on the fly, kind of figuring things out as you go? What has that transition been like?
Yeah, Mike and Don have been very helpful. They've got 30 years of experience, obviously, so I have definitely reached out to them with a lot of different questions, and they've been very keen to help us. And then also with going into some different products that they've not carried in the past, I've reached out to some of my other contacts that I've gained through just my own personal kayak fishing tournaments throughout the country, and had them help me with adding these new products. So I've had, I wouldn't know where to start if it weren't for Mike and Don and all the other help that I've come across.
Yeah. The new products and the new things that you can offer, is that kind of the fun part? I mean, obviously there's a product that but being able to add some different things, is that kind of doing the research and finding those things out? That's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And most of the products I've used personally for many years, so I know that they are tried and true, and I've always been excited about them, and now to get to offer them to all my friends in kayak fishing that I have and all the customers of Select Sail and Sports is really, really a neat deal.
Yeah.
And then also I'm so into kayak fishing and everything that goes with fishing that, like you said, getting to do research as part of my job on just fishing all day seems kind of like I'm not even at a job. Yeah.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble. There'll be a time where you don't really have as much time for that, but enjoy it now while you can. Yeah. So was it difficult for someone in the retail space? Was it difficult for you, like if you would find a new product and wanted to be able to sell that, was it difficult to get your foot in the door with the vendor? Were there certain requirements you had to meet? What was that process like as far as being able to sell their product? Are there requirements on, how much you can sell or certain products you can offer? What's that whole adventure been like?
There are a few requirements and territories with these different companies that you have to follow, but kayak fishing and just fishing in general isn't a huge market. So being in the Midwest, it's even smaller. So we haven't really ran into any big difficulties with the territories or any sort of requirements like that.
Nice.
Which has been nice. So we kind of just, it's really exciting because these products that we're bringing in now are products that have never been in Nebraska or the Midwest. So we kind of get to be on the forefront of that and see what works and what doesn't.
Nice. What are some of those products?
We'll carry Hobie Eyewear, which is a sunglass company that is through the Hobie Kayak Company.
Okay.
And then several other brands that go along with kayaking, like RoboHawk. They make tethers for phones, paddles, fishing rods,
okay,
which will be awesome for not just fishermen, but recreational kayakers.
Sure.
We have the Kearney Canal here in town that they just renovated, and it's super awesome.
Yeah.
And something like a phone tether to just clip to your life vest or to your kayak while you're going down the river.
Yeah.
Just adds some peace of mind.
Yeah.
And then we'll add motors to our lineup.
Okay.
They have special motors for kayaks, one being the Newport motor and another is Motor Guide. Motor Guide is a popular brand that's on a bunch of fishing boats, such as walleye boats and bass boats. And they've recently come out with a kayak series motor. So essentially, the Motor Guide bow mount trolling motor turns your fishing kayak into pretty much just a regular boat, minus having to have the expenses to put fuel and maintenance towards your boat.
Nice.
Once you purchase the kayak, there's really nothing else. There's no reoccurring expense to it other than lures, and I can tell you that there's definitely a problem with fishing lures. Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. Sounds like you got a nice lineup coming.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Did you have was there ever a thought about keeping the business in Omaha? Or was it always kind of the goal was to have it here in Kearney?
Well, I've grown up here in Kearney, and Kearney has always seemed like a big city to me. So if I would have to live in somewhere like Omaha, I'm not sure how I would get conditioned to that.
Right.
So I was really hoping that we could keep it here in Kearney, and it is not going to be as convenient as it was for the folks living in the eastern part of the state to just run over to Omaha and go into Select Sail and Sports. But with as much as I travel doing my own personal fishing, I get over to the eastern part of the state very often. So I'm hoping to figure out some sort of kind of mobile service department where once or twice a month I'll be able to get over there, help people out with any warranty issues they have, any service they need, and I'll also be able to deliver some boats over there too when people are purchasing kayaks.
Sure, absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's the reason that I asked that question is it's when you're moving an established business that's been somewhere for 30 years and moving it to Kearney, you talk about all the great partners that you have around here, Kearney Whitewater, and I mean, it's really kind of, you can just tell in the summers the enthusiasm for being able to go down the canal and just how much fun that trip is. It's really heightened. I mean, you see a lot more kayaks just around town. People hauling them in their pickups, or you see the bus with the trailer. People down there by Yanny that are really, it's a great way to enjoy the day. And so I feel like you bringing it here now, it's really a great time. But there's still challenges for moving a business from one area to another.
Yeah, there definitely is. And Kearney and western Nebraska has kind of gone untapped in terms of having some sort of a kayak shop. You have your big box stores, obviously, but the fishing specific and just recreational tailored kayaks that we're able to bring into a small shop like we are is it's really going to add a lot more bang for your buck than just picking up a cheap kayak. And I can speak from experience. I started kayaking probably a decade or more ago, And I started out with a $300 kayak, and the first day on the water, I already knew that I wanted something bigger, and then after that I wanted something bigger. And so, speaking of like the Kearney Whitewater Association, I'm super excited to bring Crescent into our store because the price point is a lot lower than a Hobie.
Okay.
So the Hobies are awesome for recreational kayaking.
Yeah.
But a lot of their boats are set up more for fishing.
Okay.
So if you're wanting just something more to take camping or go down the canal or just go out and float, a Crescent kayak is going to be a lot easier to get into. It's going to be very competitive with the prices of the big box store kayaks.
Nice. That's great.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Has this been what you thought it was going to be? I mean, I know that you're only a couple days open, officially open now, but you talked about you've been doing 9 months or more of research, getting this thing set up, getting the business moved. Has there been more to it than what you thought, or what has that journey been like?
I haven't really had too many preconceived notions going into it, just because I know there'd be a lot of stuff that we would learn that could throw us off course, and there definitely have been challenges like that come up, but for the most part it's been pretty seamless, and it's been very fun to learn all these new things that I've never encountered in my life. I've always just been a labor worker. I worked for Nuttleman Fencing for a time.
Okay.
And I loved that. I've worked on several farms around Kearney, and I love being outside and doing manual work. But so it's definitely been, a new experience for me to sit behind a desk and just sit down and learn all the different nuances of running a business.
Yeah. Is there anything you would change? I mean, I know that this has been really a 9 to 12 month journey for you, but is there anything that you would look back even this short period of time and be like, I think I would do that different?
I'm a very unorganized person. So going back to the beginning of my life, I would drive into my head to be more organized in every area of life, not just business related, because when you are just employed by someone, you show up and do what they say and go home, and then you have your own things, but you don't ever really go home. When you own a business, you're always on the clock, whether you're laying in bed thinking about an idea or actually, getting on social media and posting something. There's always something to do. So I'd work on my organizational skills, and but I've definitely taken steps to improve upon that. Like I said earlier, I'm really into the Jocko podcast, and he shoves discipline down your throat, and that's something that I'm trying to get better at.
Yeah. I think that's something that all small business owners, maybe not all, but I think a lot of small business owners go through that. Just running a business, owning a business is not easy. And anybody that tells you that it is, they're wrong. They're just flat wrong. And I think that, you get into it and think it's going to be one way. And then, like you said, you never really get a chance to shut your brain off because you're always thinking about the next thing, or you're thinking about social media, or you're thinking the financial part of it, or what product you can bring in. And so it's always a challenge. But and that never goes away.
Yeah.
Even if you get big where you've got your own place and you've got employees and all that, there's always a new set of challenges. But it is quite an adjustment to get used to that. So,
absolutely.
Is there anything that you wish that you were already better at, as far as whether it's maybe you're realizing that the financial side is not something you want to do, or maybe you realize that social media is a little bit more than what you thought it would be, or maybe it's just keeping the hours. I don't know. Is there anything you have kind of realized that, okay, I'm going to have to get better at this, and I'm going to have to implement that discipline to get better at it?
Well, for most of my life, I've done these fishing tournaments and been able to travel all over the country in big part because of my parents and my support staff.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I want to do really is fish.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm to the point in my life now that I, have to start making some money and living a fruitful life in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to provide for my folks who I still live with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of, these past few years, come to the realization that there's going to be things that I'm not going to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I grow as a person to, instead of dreading having to do whatever the task is at hand,
Mm-hmm.
to change myself to be excited for the new opportunities. There's obviously things like that I don't want to do, like sit behind a desk all day,
Mm-hmm.
but each day I find new opportunities to, spread some joy on social media
Mm-hmm.
and use it for good rather than just mindless scrolling.
Yep.
Or helping out the kid that I was when I was 13 and had my eyes set on a $1,200 kayak that I never knew how I was going to be able to get into.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, help out someone like that I see myself in,
Mm-hmm.
That's always really satisfying.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity in every aspect of a difficult situation or something that you really want to do.
Yeah. If you had someone come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. What have you learned in the last 9 to 12 months that could maybe help me out?" What's one piece of advice you would give them?
I would say don't focus on the business, focus on growing yourself as a person. Whatever, everyone has their shortcomings.
Mm-hmm.
So identify those and make a plan of how to better yourself at that. Be more patient. Work on your family life.
Yep.
Be a better son, father, mother, whatever you are to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Just work on being better at that. And then if you do that, I don't feel like you can fail at whatever you set your mind to, because
Right.
if you're working hard to be better, then it's going to be given to you and work out the way that you want it to.
Yeah. And it's easy to kind of lose focus and have your eyes set on work, because like you said, it can be all-encompassing at times, especially when you're starting out with a business. Mm-hmm. Where it's all you think about, it's all you're focused on, it eats up a lot of your time, and so it can be difficult sometimes to kind of break away. And I don't know if work-life balance is really a thing. I think at different points in your life it's going to be better than it is at others, but that's a great point.
Thank you.
So how can we find out more about you and your business? Select Salem Sports. Are you on social, website, phone number? Give us the address. How can we find out more?
So we're over on the east side of Kearney, along the Expressway and Coleshoot Road.
Okay.
Right by Marshall Engines.
Okay.
Which I'm very excited about this location because it's just a short little jaunt up from I-80.
Yep.
We have the Archway just a couple minutes down the road there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited to be able to run people down there to try out a kayak whenever they want. And then in terms of social media, you can find us on all social media platforms.
Okay.
Facebook and Instagram are what we're on mainly. I just started our new YouTube channel, and I plan to do a lot of filming how-tos, different kayak setups, and also put a lot of fishing content up there.
Nice.
And I have my own social media as well, just under my name, and I'll begin to put up a bunch of fishing content on my YouTube and things as well. And I'm super excited to be more around here for a change. I've been kind of fishing nationally for a long time, so
Okay.
I'm excited to get to be a part of the fishing community around Kearney. I plan to help out with the high school fishing clubs around here and hopefully grow that more.
Nice.
So that there's more kids around here that are able to go out and fish. We've got so many awesome opportunities like Yanny and Cotton Mill. They're just in a lot of kids' backyards that you can bike or walk to. So I'd like to this summer start some sort of a little league for the youth around here. And then we have our website, selectsale.com. That's what it is. It'll have all of our products on there that you can go and kind of browse through. But starting yesterday, we are officially open 12 to 6, Monday through Friday. And then on Saturdays, we're open 10 to 2.
Okay.
And for now, we'll keep those hours probably through this year to see if that'll work for the people that need to come in that are working a job or something. Hopefully they can get out after work, maybe on Thursdays or whatever the day is. They do the open late day downtown. We could stay open later on that day.
Nice.
And then if anyone ever has any fishing questions, kayak questions, needs any advice or anything, you can always reach out to myself or call Select Sail, and I'll offer any advice that I've learned traveling the national kayak fishing circuit or just being a kayaker for 10 years.
Nice. Will people have the ability to order online?
Eventually, yes.
Okay. Still working on that part?
We are.
That takes time.
If you need something shipped, you can call in and we can arrange something like that.
Got it.
And then, like I said, I'm all over the state of Nebraska and the Midwest. So I'm sure that I could run into you somewhere at a tournament or just swinging through your town on the way to a tournament to deliver something personally.
Got it. And Brady, you said you set up the YouTube page. Did you set up Facebook and Instagram as well, or was there already an established page that you're taking over, just for people that may already be signed up for that?
Select Sail and Sports has been on Facebook and Instagram for a long time. They've got a very established following on those platforms.
Okay.
But the YouTube channel is completely new.
Okay.
I'll link it onto our other social media accounts so you can just have a direct line from Facebook or Instagram to YouTube now.
Got it.
Once we start uploading content onto that.
Perfect. So anybody that's signed up already on those two platforms, they can continue. You're going to be able to give them updates and things like that. That's great.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it was pretty much just Mike and Don handing over the reins to us. We have access to the website that we've always had, and all the different customer information and things like that.
Perfect. Hey man, it's been great to get to know you. It's been great to hear more about your story, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. I know that January is maybe not the best time to be thinking about kayaking, but I think it's great that you're here. When spring and summer roll around, I think that you're going to be the people in Kearney and around here, maybe even farther, are going to be excited about what you can offer. And so I know you're only 2 days in, but I'm excited for what the future holds, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. I had an awesome time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brady.